conversations during the break. Welcome back to Grog Talk. I am Steve McDonald here with Skip Murphy, Mike Rogers, Richard Olson Jr., H. Olson Jr. joined us. He may regale us with some foreign language skills. He met Governor Chris Christie. Hold it, I got to turn your mic on. He met Governor Chris Christie. I want to talk about that, but Skip had something he wanted to say.
Well, in addition to all the bad weather in Seattle and what they're doing with the guns, but they have the first openly socialist city councilor member.
Yeah.
That I just thought it was just great because here she is advocating for $15 an hour minimum wage, but then her organization only wanted to pay $12 or something to actually do graphics work and stuff like that. These people just don't get themselves.
No, I'll bet you guys didn't know this little factoid. You know, Concord has the purple Barney bags that you pay $1 for. You know, pay as you throw. Mm-hmm. All the articles we've done on that, and Concord has it. Well, guess what? When you take one of those bags and you put more stuff into it than it can reasonably hold and you stomp on it. You know what that's called?
What?
The Seattle Stomp. Yeah, if you go back to one of my blog posts from a few years ago, I actually have a graphic in there of the Seattle Stomp. It has a hippie jumping on a garbage bag, So, Seattle is great for bringing culture like that to New Hampshire, the Granite State, because when you have one of these little people out here with their purple bags, and they put 10 pounds of doo-doo in a 5-pound bag, that's called the Seattle Stomp,
And one hopes it doesn't split.
Exactly. Yeah, do they make you pay more money if you give them a split bag?
I don't know. And, statistically, we'd expect the purple bags to weigh more than an equivalent black bag that you weren't being taxed for.
Right, exactly.
There's always a way around the systems. And it goes back to what you said earlier, Rick, of these central planners believe that things will stay status quo, that people will not adapt their behavior given the newer rules, that they can plan exactly, everything will go according to that plan.
The perfect central planner is somebody who has no idea what human nature is.
That's right.
None whatsoever.
It's like
or they don't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
It's like the static tax costing schemes where they always expect to get more revenue when they raise taxes, and they're shocked when it barely changes.
By the way, Haggie Masson couldn't be with us today. We're still waiting. We will get her on the program and start a regular segment. We now want to go. Rick met Governor Christie.
I met Governor Christie.
One-on-one.
Yep. Now, Governor Christie was, I got a personal invite from former United States Attorney Thomas Colantuno. So that was kind of nice to get that invite. Tom called me up and said, hey, you want to meet Governor Christie? You're the Second Amendment guy. So I figured, so I went to this town hall meeting in New Boston at Molly Stark Tavern on Route 13. And Chris Christie did a question and answer. He spent a whole hour calling on people. They were allowed to ask questions. He could give answers. Pretty nice venue, no tinfoil hat folks showed up and throwing wingers or anything like that, but it was pretty cool. But nobody there asked. They asked about illegal immigration, taxes, Obamacare. They talked about all these things, and one of the points Christie made was lawlessness. This is a lawless administration. So they went on talking about, but nobody ever asked a question about the Second Amendment or guns. So I thought this is perfect because I'm going to get an opportunity. I got to meet Chris Christie. I got to chat with him one-on-one. I told him where I was coming from. I'm a Second Amendment guy here in New Hampshire, and I haven't decided who I'm going to vote for. And I'm here today because I want to provide as many candidates as possible with a cultural insight as to how we go about guns and Second Amendment in New Hampshire, and talk about what's passionate to us and what we're passionate about. And he thought, he said his response was, I think you'll like, I have a good record on guns. You'll like my record. And I thought about that and I went, But anyways, we talked about other stuff. I got to talk to him for about 5 minutes on a one-on-one level. And I got to tell you, as a person, I like Chris Christie. Good guy, really warm, approachable guy. And here's the other thing about Christie. You know how he can be abrupt sometimes and really terse? That's another quality I like about Christie, because he'll look you right in the eye and he'll say something you absolutely disagree with. But at least he respects you enough to tell the truth. Okay? So I'm not coming here today to say Chris Christie is my guy. I got to meet the guy. I got to chat with him. And you know what? As a human being, I really like him. Wife, very nice lady, very nice family. Mm-hmm. So at some point in time, his scheduler is going to set up a time where I can sit down one-on-one, talk with him for about an hour, talk about the Second Amendment and guns and New Hampshire and what that means and why that's important and the so-called faux assault weapons ban that took place and how some are going to push. I got a big agenda set up, so I'm looking forward to that very meeting in the next couple of weeks here.
Well, don't forget when you get these encounters to always get the handlers to get in touch with us, because I always try and reel them in. And
sure.
We get some and we don't get others, but we try. We're always trying to reel them in, and please do what you can. We'd love to have them on here. We come one, come all.
A couple of weeks ago, I got to sit at a table with Rick Perry, and so there was only five of us.
He's pretty good on guns.
He's flawless on guns. Yeah. And then I got to meet with Scott Walker briefly. Got to chit chat with him, and he's also got a great record. Remember, he's the guy that signed the legislation that made being able to purchase guns and have guns in Wisconsin easier. You see, that's kind of a Chris Christie gun problem. He hasn't expanded draconian legislation on guns, but he hasn't done much to alleviate the issue in New Jersey as far as guns go. So I don't know.
He didn't even pardon the guy who got stuck with a gun in transit in his trunk, right?
I believe he did.
He pardoned him.
He did in the end.
And he also pardoned the woman that inadvertently went over the border from Philadelphia and got caught and was facing prison time. And so.
Quick question. Did you happen to mention Scott Brown in November to Chris Christie?
I actually did. Actually, not specifically to Chris. His chief campaign guy for the state of New Hampshire was talking to me, and we were talking about setting up a time where Chris could come to the Londonderry Fish and Game Club, meet our members, the Second Amendment community, and others. And one of the things I said, we don't have a lot of rules. We just ask that any candidate that comes accepts us just as we are. And there's only one candidate who could not do that. And he says, who is that? And I said, that was Scott Brown. And he was like, oh.
I wonder why.
Yep. So we had that conversation.
Did Walt Havenstein ever come and pay you a visit?
Nope.
No, I'm not surprised.
Now you got to understand.
We got a professional troublemaker joining us.
In these conversations with all these different handlers, they tend to, like Walt Havenstein, Scott Brown, your establishment sort of candidates. It's hit or miss whether or not they're going to show up and visit us. Most of the time, they don't. They ignore us. We're the little people. We're the flyovers to them.
Yeah. Didn't you notice though recently that Walt Havenstein was out there endorsing Chris Christie, and hasn't he perhaps considered that's not an asset?
Where is he endorsing him from? That's what I want to know. Is it Maryland or New Hampshire? I mean, that's a fair question. Is it not? He come up here, he run for governor.
Yeah.
Now I'm Walt Havenstein from Maryland, and I'm endorsing Governor Chris Christie. There's a lot to be said for that. But I'm not being unfair when I say that either. But we've gotten some reach outs from Donald Trump camp. We've gotten some folks reaching out, to come for a visit at the Londonderry Fish and Game Club.
I'm just laughing because after last night, you're going to have to put the whole crowd on your brand new 200, 400 yard range to fit them all in.
Absolutely.
Did he tell you we're gonna try to raffle off shots at the Eye of Sauron?
Oh, really?
On a 200-yard range.
That ought to be fun.
Put a little page boy wig on it, give it a bit one eyelash, turn it on, armor up a laptop off the side, and for a donation, we'll let you shoot the thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to record it.
Yeah,
it won't be high speeds, but it'll just be there, and then it won't.
Right.
Yeah,
It'll be kind of cool.
It's starting to die, and we're looking for donations for a new couple of cameras for close-up web streaming.
Oh, cool!
And
awesome.
but yeah, it's the Eye of Sauron has given us years of service, and the taking apart and putting together, it's just wearing out the connectors, and it doesn't always respond the way it's supposed to. Like right now, I see that it's streaming, but it
you never know.
I got a little blue screen in front of me, but I can see the broadcast going out.
It could be here now. In 5 minutes, it's done. We don't know. So We got a couple more minutes before we bring Emily on. Hi.
Hi there.
How you doing? So, what is coming up that's hot in the land of Londonderry Fish and Game? Or
September 20th, we are having the famous pumpkin chunking at the Londonderry Fish and Game Club. We're going to have a pig roast in conjunction with that. That one's an NRA ILA event, so
Politics.
They're asking to put out a little bit of coin for that. I think it's $250 a couple. But we just had a pig roast and National Rifle Association AR Challenge, and that was an event. The entry fee was only $50, but the money was spent we did that to raise money for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. So I don't know what the final numbers are, but we raised some money for them, and that was spearheaded by Bob Cormier. We are having a plethora of classes that we're offering. I'm going to be doing a class next month, latter part of this month, called Handgun 1, 2, 3. And what that is if there are folks out there that have absolutely no experience with guns other than what they've seen on TV, we'll get them in, we'll educate them, we'll show them how to hold a handgun, how to operate a handgun. It's a non-shooting class. In other words, we teach them the very basics. And then one of the other voids this particular class fills is people go and they take NRA's basic handgun class, and they really are not prepared to take that class. They don't have some of the basic things, so this class will prepare them for that. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And this is all on one day?
Oh, no, it's on our schedule, LondonderryFishingGameClub.org, schedule of events.
Right.
It's all different days. And then, of course, we're doing our construction on our 200, 400-yard range, and that's coming right along. We did a lot of nifty blasting, and now we got a rock crushing company in there crushing all it and taking the material out because they can use it. And we dodge a $150,000 change order by not having that happen. So,
excellent.
Totally awesome win-win. They get free material, we get removed.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing all that with us. We're going to come back in a few seconds, actually about 5 minutes, with Emily Sandblade. We're going to talk about some stuff having to do with the Goffstown Republican event that's coming up. That's a pretty exciting thing. And after that, we have John Lieber, the chief economist from Thumbtack.com. He's going to talk about their small business survey, and that's pretty much going to be what happens. You stay tuned. We will be right. I'm waiting. 3, 2, 1, go. Bye.
This is the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is the repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Rock.